I am a warrior, the Saiyan Prince, Vegeta!
Brakathe Hawa, Brakathe Hawa Shai, Brakathe Hawa, Brakathe Hawa Shai, Brakathe Hawa, Brakathe Hawa Shai, call Layim Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, call Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders which are a great millstone. Peace and blessing to the sincere Akim pushing his truth and sincerity, and those who putting the videos up throughout the week to feed the sheep. It's McQuarrie from Trump in the VA camp. And it says new proposed law to jail anti-vaxxers, and the CDC fear-based talking points to media revealed. So there's basically like a group telling people not to vaccine, be against getting vaccinations, because we know vaccinations, it leads to all different kind of diseases and things like that. When I was growing up, you had to get like probably 2 shots. Right now, they got shots all year round. They continually got mandatory shots, especially if you're a minor going to school. You got like shots all year round, right? Now, when I was growing up, there wasn't no such thing as ADHD and all these other diseases that they got springing up. That wasn't a thing when I was growing up. And if you do your research, you'll looking to know that these things that they're talking about, it comes from these. So it comes from these vaccinations. Okay, they got diseases inside of them and things like that, specifically designed to target the so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. But it says a controversial group currently in the crosshairs of the establishment, which was also discussed at Event 201, is known as the anti-vaccine movement. And now we see the UK government working on a new law to jail people who spread anti-vaccine propaganda online. Currently, people are protected from prosecution if they sincerely believe that misinformation or propaganda is real. But the government is looking to reform this provision and make it a criminal offense to post anything online, particularly social media, which is deemed to be anti-vaccine. It says, where does the CDC stand on this issue? Well, when was an Examine a CDC document published at the National Academy's website? We see what they call a recipe for fostering public interest and high vaccine demand. The CDC document appears to contain outright talking points and a strategy to be carried out and propaganda to the public via health officials and the media. It says I am an anti-vaxxer, but when I see a massive profit-driven global operation which wields vast power and influence, our government who want to make vaccines mandatory and jail those who dare to ask questions, which is then propagandized by the media and sold to the public through fear and intimidation, I must resist.
Movement for that?
Well, yeah. Some are calling for penalties like higher healthcare premiums, even jail time.
These anti-vaxxers, they're crazy. They're wearing tinfoil hats.
These outbreaks are due to the anti-vaccine movement.
Coming in.
Welcome everyone, I'm Spiro with an important update. Recently I reported on how George Soros is funding a campaign to silence
creators on YouTube, who also reported how at Event 201, the coronavirus pandemic exercise, they openly discussed censoring content online, which may question the official coronavirus narrative, even suggesting jail time for those who post misinformation or fake news online about the virus. Since then, we have seen the social media companies announce their plans to silence what they call misinformation regarding the outbreak. Another key group hated by the establishment, which was also discussed at Event 201, is known as the anti-vaccine movement. And now we see the UK government working on a new law to jail people who spread anti-vaccine propaganda online. The article, which was posted by the Telegraph, says currently people are protected from prosecution if they sincerely believe the misinformation or propaganda is real. Now, the government is looking to reform this provision and make it a criminal offense to post anything online, particularly on social media, which is deemed to be anti-vaccine. So what's next? Mandatory vaccines? Actually, yes, in some cases, it's already happening. For example, in California, children are required to be vaccinated in order to attend schools. Nurses are required to take the flu shot or they will lose their job. And right now, in the UK, they are currently working to make vaccines compulsory for children who attend state schools. Now, I personally do not consider myself to be anti-vaccine whatsoever. I believe people should be able to choose what's best for themselves and their families. And that's mostly how it's been, more or less, but this is rapidly changing. I have interviewed top doctors and nurses who not only question the toxic ingredients known as adjuvants often found in vaccines, but the profit-driven motivation to push them. And the revolving door between the government and big pharmaceutical has been widely documented, even by the mainstream media. A recent example, the last FDA commissioner, Scott Gottlieb, resigned his position as the top federal drug regulator and was immediately hired by Pfizer, the top drug producer in the U.S. Now, the move came with a nice cash bonus as well as stock options, which doubled the former commissioner's income to upwards of $330,000. Now, big pharmaceutical, i.e. the drug and vaccine manufacturers, have a heavy influence in Washington as they lobby politicians and fund political campaigns. They also essentially pocketed the media by funding them through their advertisements. And the vaccine manufacturers are actually protected from any liability in the case that someone experiences an adverse event or an injury from their products through the Vaccine Compensation Fund, which is a program that financially compensates victims of vaccine injuries, paid for, of course, with U.S. tax dollars. As of October 2019, the Vaccine Compensation Fund has paid $4.2 billion in compensation to victims, and this does not include attorney's fees or costs. So where does the CDC stand on this issue? Well, when we look at a CDC document published at the nationalacademies.org website, we see what they call a recipe for fostering public interest in high vaccine demand. And in this recipe to foster high vaccine demand, we see a list of guidelines which include Step 3, medical experts and public health authorities via the media state concern and alarm and predict dire outcomes and urge influenza vaccination. Step 4, the combination of steps 2 and 3 result in significant media interest and attention, framing of the flu season in terms that motivate behavior as very severe, more severe than last or past years, even deadly. Step 5, continued reports from health officials and media that influenza is causing severe illness and or affecting lots of people, helping foster the perception that many people are susceptible to a bad case of influenza. Visible/tangible examples of the seriousness of the illness, for example, pictures of children, families of those affected, coming forward, and people getting vaccinated to first motivate the latter to reinforce. Reference to and discussions of pandemic influenza along with continued reference to the importance of vaccination. Again, I am not an anti-vaxxer by any means, but when I see a massive profit-driven global operation which wields vast power and influence over governments who want...
So as you can see, Esau is doing what he's doing. He's being the devil. Okay? But if you are an Israelite and you should already be protected from this. And I'm going to show you what I mean. So we got Deuteronomy 10:12. And now, Israel, what does the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Al Shaddai, thy power require of thee, but to fear Yahweh Bashim Al Shaddai the Lord, to fear Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, thy power, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve him, and to serve the Lord thy power with all thy heart and with all thy soul, to keep the commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and his statutes which I command thee this day for thy good. See, it's for thy good, because Yahweh Bashim Yahushai he knew obviously that the devil was going to do what he did, and he was going to make these vaccines and things like that. But if you are aware of the law, obviously you won't take part in this. Watch. Leviticus 19:28. It says, "Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am Yahweh." So we're not supposed to make any cuttings in our flesh. And when you get vaccines and shots and things like that, that's literally making a cut in your flesh. So you're breaking the law. And when you break the law, you allow whatever demons that come with that law you break to enter you. So if you're an Israelite and you decide, you know what, I want to get these vaccines, since you broke the law, you're in violation. And now whatever disease or whatever problem come with that shot, now you got to deal with it. Why? Because you decided to break the law. We are protected when we obey Yahweh by Shemi Al-Shai. When we go against him, we get the judgment. Ecclesiastes 12:10. Never trust thine enemy, for like his iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. So we're supposed to never trust these Edomites. Okay, who cares what they say? They going to help us out, this, that, and the third. No, we got to trust in Yahweh Shemi Al-Shai. We got to allow him to help us in all the help that we need, or the herbs and things like that of the earth. But ultimately, we rely on Yahweh Shemi Al-Shai. But Esau is definitely a no-go. He's our enemy. Okay, he put drugs, guns in our neighborhoods, gangs. This guy isn't out to help us. If you think the devil is going to help you, out of your mind. Okay? But with that, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakal Kadash, Adawan Ratazah Thumb Yakal. Shalom.